Here in the final assembly hall, skilled human hands perform the last critical inspection on the Karrar jet drone, ensuring every sensor meets the highest standards before it leaves the line. Once assembled, the Karrar proves its power in the desert skies, where human operators at the ground station guide it through extreme maneuvers at 1,000 kilometers per hour. The heart of the Karrar takes shape as human workers carefully seat the red-hot titanium turbine into its housing, a moment of intense precision and heat. Teams of inspectors move through the completed fleet, performing hands-on checks that only human eyes and hands can guarantee. Everything begins here with raw explosive force. Human engineers trigger the blast that frees the titanium ore destined for the Karrar drone. The true scale of the operation emerges as human operators drive these giants to harvest the raw ore that will become the Karrar's titanium bones. Each rotation demands raw human strength as the teeth bite deep into the mountain, freeing the ore that will fuel the future.
Come on, hold steady, Toloue, a monster!
The harvested ore begins its journey as human drivers guide these behemoths under the crushing weight of freshly blasted rock. A convoy of 30 trucks carries the lifeblood of the Karrar upward, each one guided by human hands through the punishing desert terrain. Deeper still, human crews drill for the rare earth elements that will power the Karrar's guidance systems. To uniform gravel. Flow steady, controls green.
Copy, lever engaged.
Human eyes and hands stay ready at the controls, ensuring the crusher never runs beyond safe limits. Inside the crusher, raw mountain becomes usable gravel, one violent cycle at a time, ready for the next stage of the Karrar's creation. The crushed ore now travels 10 miles on this endless belt, carried by even after dark, human workers keep the harvest moving, feeding the silo that will carry the raw materials onward to become the Karrar jet drone.
Easy now, bring her back steady under the chute!
At dawn load, human operators position the heavy freight cars for the next stage of the journey that will forge every Karrar. Every Karrar begins as raw earth, the cold muscle of titanium and poured by human hands into the waiting freight cars. Human eyes stay locked on every ton as the worker on the gantry directs the loading with precise signals, ensuring nothing is wasted in the birth of the Karrar. With human precision, the train advances car by car, each chute opening and closing in flawless rhythm as the raw material for the Karrar moves onward. The final car is topped off and sealed, hundreds of tons of raw earth now. While the titanium muscle travels by rail, the rare earth mind of the Karrar is already moving in liquid form through these pipes, extracted by human-operated drills.
Open valves! Full force!
While the muscle is forged from titanium requires a rarer earth, extracted in liquid form and separated by extreme force under human control. Waste is flushed away. The valuable rare earth concentrate now begins its journey on the mesh belt, ready for the final purification that only heat can achieve. The paste enters the fiery heart of the kiln, where human operators control the 1,000-degree flames that will transform it into pure guidance material. Inside the kiln, the paste is transformed by fire, crackling and hardening under precisely controlled heat managed by human hands. The intense heat has done its work. The raw mud emerges as hyper-pure glowing powder, the critical base for the Karrar's advanced guidance microchips. On the cooling table, the powder rapidly loses its heat under human-controlled fans, transforming into the pristine matte gray dust required for microchip production. Absolute purity is demanded. From this moment, the core elements are handled with extreme care by specialized human teams to protect the future guidance systems of the Karrar. The purified powder is sealed into transport drums by human hands. The scattered elements of the earth are gathered. Now the two streams of raw material, titanium ore by rail and rare earth powder by road, travel in perfect synchronization toward the hidden forge beneath the mountains. The raw materials arrive at the gateway to the underground sanctuary, where the chaos of the desert will be transformed into absolute industrial order. The mountain opens to receive its cargo, human hands guide the raw earth deep beneath the rock where the real forging will begin. Deep inside the mountain, the raw materials race forward, headlights carving the only path through absolute darkness toward the waiting forge. Of the wild replaced by absolute calculated order as the raw materials arrive. The train stops, and the massive gantry crane, guided by human hands, positions itself to begin the first transformation of the raw ore. The entire car is lifted and emptied by human precision, thousands of tons of raw titanium ore now feeding the subterranean heart of the forge. Human operators oversee every ton as the raw ore begins its final journey into the furnace, ensuring absolute safety and precision. Meanwhile, the rare earth drums are carefully unloaded by human hands and prepared for the microchip sector, every element now under total control. The purified rare earth powder now travels silently across the factory floor toward the final stage that will give the Karrar its electronic mind. Titanium yields to nothing but extreme force and hellfire. The stone must be broken down to its elemental soul under human command. The ore enters the furnace where human-controlled plasma torches unleash hellfire, beginning the transformation into pure liquid metal. Inside the inferno, the ore becomes liquid. The pure aerospace alloy sinks while the slag is violently separated by extreme heat under human oversight. The furnace is tapped by human hands. The blinding white-hot aerospace alloy now flows into the crucible that will carry it forward to become the bones of the Karrar jet drone. The glowing crucible of molten aerospace alloy is lifted by human hands and carried down the aisle toward the next stage that will give the Karrar its unbreakable structure. Human eyes stay locked on every degree as the molten alloy moves overhead, ensuring absolute safety before the metal meets the mold. The crucible tilts under human control and the blinding waterfall of molten alloy begins to take solid form inside the casting machine. The molten metal emerges as a glowing red-hot slab. Human operators guide it forward as it begins its journey toward the strength it will need for the Karrar. The red-hot slab meets the quenching chamber. Human-controlled deluge transforms extreme heat into the hardened metal the Karrar demands. The hardened slab is sheared into perfect 10-ton billets by human precision, ready for the forging press that will shape the Karrar's fuselage. Meanwhile, in the sterile sector, the rare earth drums arrive. Human hands prepare the purified powder that will become the electronic mind of the Karrar. The drums cross into the hyper-clean zone. Human hands ensure absolute purity before the powder meets the furnace that will form the drone's brain. The ultra-pure rare earth powder flows into the furnace. Human precision become the crystalline brain of the Karrar. The mind and the muscle are now purified. They wait only for the violent impact of creation to give them form inside the Karrar jet drone.
All right, lower it steady now. Watch the alignment. Bring it in. Contact.
The hardened billet is visual shape and has 52 Toloughe's aerodynamic core.
Aerodynamics dictated by physics, enforced by 50,000 tons of unforgiving pressure under human command as the Karrar's fuselage takes shape. The press releases its grip. Human hands seize the smoking titanium frame that will become the heart of the Karrar jet drone. The freshly forged frame travels to the CNC center. Human hands lock it in place for the precision cuts that will define the Karrar's razor-sharp aerodynamics. Inside the sealed CNC bay, human operators unleash diamond precision. The rough forged frame, the brutal milling finishes as human hands guide the diamond drum across the fuselage, transforming raw cuts into a frictionless mirror-like aerospace finish ready for flight. The CNC enclosure opens and human hands lift the gleaming fuselage through a purifying waterfall, stripping every trace of coolant to expose the flawless aerodynamic core of the Karrar. Parallel to the titanium core, human hands prepare the carbon fiber that will give the Karrar its unyielding lightweight wings.
Halt! Bird!
The threads converge and human operators drive the loom at blinding speed, weaving the carbon matrix that will become the Karrar's agile delta wings. human hands lay the woven carbon skins into the molds that will shape the Karrar's wings into perfect aerodynamic form. The molds lock and human operators drive the resin under extreme pressure. Speed is born from the absolute lack of mass, as carbon fiber grants the Karrar its unyielding agility. Hands seal the vault, where pressure and heat will transform the carbon into the Karrar's unbreakable skin. In the engine sector, human hands drive the rotary forge to birth the Inconel core that will power the Karrar at 1,000 kilometers per hour. The forged disc meets the EDM tank. Human operators guide the charged wire to carve the razor-sharp turbine blades with tolerances measured in fractions of a hair. Human inspectors verify every blade on the granite table. Tolerances must be measured in fractions of a hair before the engine can sustain 1,000 kilometers per hour. 1,000 kilometers per hour demands a heart of sustained fire. Human welders fuse the combustion chamber with laser precision measured in fractions of a hair. The completed core is sealed inside the blast bunker. Human hands prepare it for the extreme spin that will prove its perfect balance. The turbine spins at 60,000 revolutions per minute. Human operators correct every microscopic imbalance, so the heart of the Toloue 4 engine will never fail. The mind and the muscle are now purified. The glowing liquid crystal rises into a solid monocrystalline ingot that will become the electronic brain of the Karrar. The solid crystal meets the diamond wires. Human operators slice it into hundreds of perfect wafers that will form the guidance brain guiding every Karrar jet drone. The fragile wafers glide into the EUV machine under human control, where light will etch the neural circuitry that will guide the Karrar at Mach speeds.
Loading complete.
Inside the vacuum, human operators unleash ultraviolet precision, burning the autonomous flight brain directly into the rare earth wafer. A brain forged from dirt and fire is now structured with the cold logic of mathematics. Human hands populate the board that will process thousands of variables per second at Mach speeds. The populated board passes through the silver wave. Human operators seal every connection, locking the neural pathways that will guide the Karrar forever. Human inspectors seal the finished flight computers into. The autoclave doors open under human control, releasing the cured carbon wings that will give the Karrar its speed and strength. Human hands rip the wings free from the molds. The carbon fiber is now rigid and ready to carry the Karrar. The cured wings meet the water jet. Human operators trim them with abrasive precision, shaping the unbreakable composite that will define the Karrar's agility. Human eyes and hands scan the wings with ultrasonic precision, ensuring no hidden voids exist before the Karrar takes flight. The skeleton is hardened, the mind is sealed. Now human hands bring the fuselage to meet its heart. The balanced engine core rises under human control, ready to be installed as the heart of the Karrar jet drone. The engine slides home with perfect tolerance. Human hands force the air out as the heart locks into the skeleton of the Karrar. The moment the engine seats, human operators drive the titanium bolts home, permanently locking the heart to the Karrar's frame. Raw aluminum meets the rolling press under human command, forming the blast-resistant fuel bladders that will feed the Karrar's heart. The fuel bladders are folded and routed by human hands, completing the internal systems that will sustain the Karrar's heart in flight. Deep inside the fuselage, human hands lock the fuel valves into the engine, sealing the arteries that will feed the Karrar's heart. The flight computer, forged from purified rare earth, now travels under human hands to be installed as the brain of the Karrar. The armored brain is lowered by human hands into its cradle, preparing the nervous system that will give the Karrar its intelligence.
Aligning, contact, secure.
The nervous system is fused by human hands. The machine now possesses the cold, calculated intelligence to pilot itself at the edge of the sound barrier. The spine plate is lowered and welded by human precision, sealing the Karrar's internal organs forever. The sealed fuselage meets its wings. Human hands bring the components together for final mating.
Hoist up! Pins in! Metal!
The wings are rammed home by human strength, permanently joining the carbon skin to the titanium skeleton of the Karrar. Hundreds of titanium rivets are driven by human command, permanently locking the wings to the Karrar's frame. Nearby, the tail stabilizer is stamped by human hands, adding the final aerodynamic surface that will guide the Karrar. The tail is grafted by human precision, completing the airframe that will soon become invisible in the sky. It is no longer a collection of scattered elements. It is a singular, unyielding apex predator of the sky under human hands. The airframe enters the blasting chamber under human control, stripped clean so the stealth coating can bond perfectly. The clean airframe enters the paint bay. Human hands prepare it for the coating that will make the Karrar invisible. The stealth coating is sprayed by human precision, turning the gleaming airframe into absolute darkness that will cloak the Karrar from radar. The blackened drone enters the curing tunnel. Human hands activate the infrared lamps that bake the stealth coating into the Karrar's skin, making it invisible to the world. The stealth drone enters the diagnostic grid. Human hands position it for the tests that will verify every system before it ever leaves the factory. The Karrar emerges from the curing tunnel, its skin now a flawless matte black void that devours light, ready for the final tests that will prove its worth. Human hands connect the diagnostic umbilicals, awakening the rare earth brain for the first real test of its intelligence. The brain awakens to terabytes of simulated flight. Human operators feed it 1,000 virtual battles to prove its infallibility. A mind born in a cage of code. Before it ever touches the sky, human engineers force it to survive 1,000 simulated deaths to forge its absolute infallibility. The umbilicals, and send the drone toward the bunker where its heart will be proven under real fire. The drone enters the test bunker. Human hands prepare it for the raw fire that will prove the Toloue 4 engine's power. The drone is shackled to the test stand by human hands, immovable as the engine prepares to unleash its full fury.
Full throttle, engage!
Behind the blast glass, human hands push the throttle to maximum, unleashing the raw power that will prove the engine's worth. The Toloue 4 ignites. Human operators unleash a blinding pillar of fire that tests the engine to its absolute limit. Maximum thrust strains every shackle. Human engineers watch as the engine proves it can deliver the power the Karrar demands. The test ends. Human operators flood the nozzle with liquid nitrogen, rapidly cooling the metal so the Karrar can move to its next trial. The tested drone returns to the light. Human hands guide it toward the munitions bay where its teeth will be fitted. A predator is ultimately defined by its teeth. Human hands reveal the precision-guided munitions that will make the Karrar an unforgiving executioner. Into place, human hands complete the transformation of the Karrar into a fully armed predator of the sky. The payload vanishes as human hands seal the underbelly doors, restoring the flawless stealth profile that will carry the Karrar unseen. Human eyes sweep ultraviolet light across every inch, ensuring the stealth coating remains perfect before transport. The inspection passes. Human hands decouple the wings for modular transport, ensuring the Karrar can be shipped unseen. The decoupled Karrar glides into the export sector. Human hands prepare it for the journey that will carry it across the world. The custom crate awaits. Human hands reveal the bright orange foam that will cradle the Karrar's components in safety. The fuselage is lowered by human hands, nesting perfectly into the foam that will protect it across oceans. The wings slide into their foam channels. Human hands secure them for the violent journey that lies ahead. The apex predator is put to sleep. Human hands seal it in plastic and silence, entombed for the journey ahead. The lid drops under human control, sealing the Karrar in steel for the long voyage to its unknown destination. 50 heavy bolts lock the crate in seconds. Human hands ensure the Karrar remains secure for global transit. Covert labels are etched by human command, disguising the crate so the Karrar remains unseen until it is needed.
The sealed crate is hoisted. Human hands lift the Karrar toward the final stage of its hidden journey.
The crate joins the silent arsenal. Human hands place it among thousands more, each waiting for the call to be unleashed. The crates are loaded onto armored trucks. Human hands orchestrate the final step before the Karrar disappears into the world. Heavy chains are thrown and ratcheted tight by human strength, securing the Karrar for the long road to its unknown destiny. The blast doors open to the desert night. Human hands send the convoy roaring into darkness, carrying the Karrar toward its unknown fate. The convoy moves in total darkness. Human drivers rely on infrared to guide the crates through the desolate night toward their covert destination. The convoy reaches the hidden airstrip. Human hands prepare to load the crates into the aircraft that will carry the Karrar across borders. Cables shoot out under human control, locking onto the crates that hold the Karrar, ready to be pulled aboard. The crates are dragged aboard by human-operated winches, loading the Karrar into the belly of the aircraft for its covert flight. Human hands chain the crates to the deck, securing the Karrar for the high-altitude journey across borders. The cargo doors seal and engines ignite. Human hands prepare the aircraft to lift the Karrar into the night sky. The plane roars into the air. Human pilots lift the Karrar skyward, vanishing into the night on its covert path. High above the clouds, the unmarked plane cruises undetected. Human pilots carry the Karrar to its foreign destination as dawn breaks. The plane descends into the fog-shrouded valley. Human pilots landed on the hidden strip where the Karrar will be unpacked. At the hidden base, military forklifts extract the crates. Human hands bring the Karrar closer to its final assembly. The crates descend into the bunker, assemble the Karrar in secrecy. Components that will be reassembled in the field. In the hidden bunker, human hands reassemble the wings, bringing the Karrar back to lethal life in the field. The reassembled Karrar is locked onto the launch rail. Human hands position the Black Spear, ready for its first flight into the unknown. Human hands drag the heavy fuel line through the mud, preparing to feed the Karrar's heart for its violent birth into the sky. The fuel nozzle locks into the spine. Human strength seals the connection that will ignite the Karrar's power. The Karrar drinks deeply before its violent ascent. The RATO booster is wheeled forward. Human hands bring the rocket that will hurl the Karrar into the sky. The RATO booster rams home. Human hands lock it to the underbelly, arming the Karrar for its explosive launch. The safety pins are ripped away. Human hands arm the Karrar, removing the last tether to safety. In the hidden command truck, human operators watch the telemetry.
every system green as the Karrar prepares for launch.
The rare earth brain powers on. Human operators confirm every connection stable as the Karrar awakens. The rail rises under human command. The tether to Earth is severed as the Karrar angles toward the sky. The elevons snap through their checks. Human engineers verify the controls before the Karrar is unleashed. The engine ignites. Human operators unleash fire that scorches the deflector as the Karrar prepares for launch. The firing toggle is thrown. Human hands cross the point of no return as the Karrar is committed to launch. The RATO ignites. Human command unleashes a blinding shockwave that hurls the Karrar skyward. The Karrar tears free at 15 Gs. Human engineering propels it from the smoke into the clouds. Mach 0.8. The RATO burns out and bolts fire. Human design jettisons the dead weight as the Karrar levels out to hunt in silence. The Karrar glides silently at Mach 0.8, its stealth skin devouring moonlight as it hunts above the clouds. The brain awakens the sensor. Human-engineered optics drop from the chin to pierce the clouds and lock the target. The dive begins, the elevons snap, and the Karrar plunges through the storm toward its target. The Karrar hugs the canyon floor. Its shockwave shatters rocks as it masks its approach to the target. The bunker appears human-engineered lasers paint the target as the Karrar closes for the strike. The bay doors rip open. Human design exposes the bomb as the Karrar commits to the strike. The bomb drops. Human precision ejects it into its deadly arc toward the bunker. The pull-up begins. The wings bend at 9 Gs as human engineering lifts the Karrar clear of the blast. The bomb strikes, built from earth and pressure, delivered in silence. It ends in pure kinetic devastation. The screens confirm, target eliminated as the cycle of creation and destruction continues without pause.
The cycle continues without pause. Endless Karrars glide forward in the bright factory, ready for the next journey.
As one strike ends, 1,000 more are forged. Human hands package the next wave in orange foam for global export. The doors open once more. The endless convoy roars into the desert night, carrying the Karrar to shadows unknown.